Recording. So, as you know, Corey, I'm Mary Kate McGarry, and I am the Product Associate here for Achieve OnDemand. Achieve OnDemand, as you know, is an online professional learning program for both experienced and new home visiting professionals. Achieve OnDemand was created by the Ounce Prevention Fund, or the Ounce. That's a program, or the Ounce is a program based on 35 years of experience training Illinois home visitors in the workforce. So with that institutional knowledge, they've decided to develop a national type of platform to provide for other states to contribute in online learning experiences. So we'll briefly go over today with the welcome, just an overview of each learning experience, and then I'll go through accessing your learning portal for Franklin-Fulton County, enrolling or registering into that learning portal, enrolling in the courses, how to access your courses, how to access the completion certificates, and then just give you the user support information. So we currently have two different learning experiences available for our learners through the learning portal. So those are the self-paced courses, and these are the webinars. You'll have a brief, just bullet-pointed information listed under each type. Basically, the self-paced courses are available to start immediately upon enrollment in the Achieve OnDemand system. They take on average about 3 hours to complete, but you don't need to complete that training in one sitting. So say you only have 30 minutes to participate in a couple of the slides and activities, and then you have to log off, go to a home visit or a meeting, and then you can come back in 2 days and pick up where you left off. But your progress will be tracked in the system. Okay, so you can pause and pick up where you left off at any time, so you don't have to sit for 3 hours in front of the computer just to complete one training. And then we also have those live webinar trainings. They take place on specific times and dates, and they last 1 hour. So to receive completion credit, you do need to attend the live session. We do have, and we could send you out information, we do have requirements because of the schedules around home visitors and how many home visits they have in a day, if they can't attend, and things come up. We get emails like that all the time. You know, I got pulled into a meeting, or I forgot I scheduled a home visit during this time. We do allow for post-viewing sessions. Now, there are certain requirements that must be met to receive completion credit. So we need, basically they boil down to, I need either a system admin or a training coordinator or a supervisor manager send me a full list of people who have enrolled in the training from that program site. I need it at least 24 hours prior to that start time, and that's our registration deadline anyway. So we have a registration deadline for our webinars 24 hours before the scheduled start time. So if it's 10 a.m. Central Time, that's 11 a.m. your time in Pennsylvania. They need to register by 11 a.m. the preceding day to even get enrollment into the session. So I also, in congruency to that, I would need that program coordinator, supervisor, or manager to send me that full list of people who did enroll in time. So I know that those people on my roster are attending a post-viewing session. And then that coordinator or manager would schedule a meeting for their staff where they would sit down and they would review the content and the recording and any resources we provide during that training. And then once that's concluded, I would need a follow-up email from that person who initiated the post-viewing session, listing everybody who had attended. So again, there's certain requirements that need to be met for that group to qualify for post-viewing session. You're going to get the best experience attending the live session with the trainer because you will get all the feedback from the different participants in the room. But like I said, We completely understand how busy schedules are and that sometimes you have to have the post-viewing session. So that's the different learning experiences. Is there any questions? Do you have any questions specifically?
No, when it comes to if we want to do a post-viewing session, we can have a conversation with you to make sure we do that process correctly.
Correct. And I could send you a list of those requirements. We can also list those when we get to the point where we log into your portal. We can list those on the front page, on the welcome page. So anybody who is logging into the system, it's right there for them. And then, like I said, I can send you a list of those requirements and you can send them out to the different programs.
Okay.
Okay. And then you'll see the last bulleted point. We record all our sessions, and we provide, once that session has completed, we'll load that recording into the system, and all the learners who attend the live session will automatically be enrolled into the session's recording and resources, so you have that as reference for the future. And if you are enrolled in the training and unfortunately you can't attend for one reason or another, something comes up, you can always reach out to us and we can send you those session recordings and resources. You do need to be enrolled in the session to receive that recording, but you won't receive completion credit. So if you don't meet those, either the actual completion requirements of attending the live session or the post-viewing session requirements, then you won't receive completion credit, but you could still access all of that content and all of the information. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. And then we have our full listing of our 2019 and 2020 calendar of webinar sessions available. Obviously these three, well, we have next week, the trauma in families and communities, but all of these sessions are available. I can't turn the page right now, so just give me a minute. But it goes to 2020, June 2020. Those are all available in the online catalog, and then I'll also, once we conclude this demo today, I'll follow up with that document that I just opened. So you have a printable version that you can either email out. Everything links to the site if there are hyperlinks located in that document. So you'll have a quick access and review and all of that good stuff. All right. So I wanted to go over logging into your system, enrolling in the courses, and accessing those courses and your completion certificate, and then just the user support, the general user support. So I'm going to go ahead and share my browser now. Can you see what I'm sharing?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure because sometimes WebEx likes to be a little wonky. Okay, so this is the link that I sent you. If you were to click on it, it'll take you here to this landing page, and your users will know that they're in the right place because it says Franklin-Fulton County, PA. And I'm sorry, I need to edit that. There should be 2 Ds, correct? Oh, no, 1 D, sorry.
No, there is 2.
There is 2. Okay, I will edit that. So I apologize for that. I'm going to make a note to myself right now. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah. So that will be edited as soon as we're done here. So as a new user, what you would do is just click here to register into the system. It'll take you to the registration page, and you'll notice that any required field has that asterisk. And then you would create a unique password. Your username will be your email address, so whatever email address you use to register into the system, that's your username. We have the different program models, the general ones that we typically see when we have our learners enrolled into the system listed here. If you use a certain program model or curriculum that's not listed, you can always select other, but if you do need to report on it, Corey, like I discussed before, how I would supply you with a breakdown of your learners' usage. If you do have a specific model you need listed here, if you want to just go ahead and email that to me, I can have my system developers added into the list, okay? But basically, this is the selection that they would get. Service delivery type is basic, center-based, home-based, or not applicable. Usually not applicable is the people who are like coordinators who aren't working directly with families, or director levels. They usually choose not applicable, sorry. And then you have your primary position. And again, these are basically the ones we've, through our work with our Illinois learners and then through our different audiences that we do work with throughout the country. These are just those general buckets that we've come across. Again, if you don't refer to your staff as home visitors or like parent educators or the PAT workers, and you want a specific title listed in here, you can go ahead and send me that and I'll have it added. Okay?
Yep.
And you'll notice that like that coordinator position is not listed here. We generally push people, or say, you know, you could just select other, but again, if you have a lot of coordinators that you want using the system, we can always have that added to the list. And then you're going to want to add in the organization or the site name that the learner is working from, and then you'll use that address, or the learner will use that address when registering in the system. So they're not going to use their personal home address, they're going to use their site address. And then your general, how long have you been working within the field? Okay, so once you finish completing this form, super quick and easy, you would just click login and it'll take you to the system. I already created a user, so I would, if I were already in the system, came here, I could just select login here, or you saw listed before, if I go back, there's a user login page right on your landing page.
Yeah.
So you can either, if they go to the wrong place and they hit register again, they'll have that option way at the bottom, or they could just click right here. I have my email, or my demo account. Oops. Okay. And you'll notice that as soon as I log in, I'm taken to my landing page. Like I said, if you decide you want to do that post-viewing session option, we could list the requirements right here in our key tips. Okay. You'll notice we have the 24 hours prior to scheduled start time for registration. We want to make sure people are aware of that. You have all of our support information, that general information. But specifically, what we want to go over is this would be your specific transcript. So this is any active trainings you're currently working in will show up right in this widget. So it's a direct, right in your face link. You don't have to go hunting and pecking through the different tabs. It's right here. You can always click it. So how this widget is structured is it's only going to show the most 5 recent trainings you've enrolled into. So if you say you're a super user and you're in all of them, not all of them will list here. And when I say all of them, we have 10 self-paced courses, and we have, I want to say 20-some webinars. So they're not all going to list right here on the homepage. It'll just be the first 5 recent enrolled trainings. If you are looking for a quick search for the different webinars or self-paced courses, any of the learning experiences, these are a quick like word search. So we have your self-paced courses, your webinars. ASQ is super popular training right now, so that's listed up here. And then Domestic Violence Foundations for Practice. That's a general type of, obviously, search term, but that includes like our basics of home visiting. So generally when our new users come to us and they're not sure where to start, we push them to the basics of home visiting because it's that foundational course, and then you can get into the specific trainings. Depending on, again, their years of experience in the field and all of that good stuff. So I wanted to go over how to actually register or enroll into your first training. What you would do is pretend nothing exists in this little widget. You would log in, you're going to go to your professional development tab, and you're going to go to Browse Professional Development Catalog. That will take you to the full catalog of trainings. They're listed in alphabetical order, each, because we have different divisions within the Office of Prevention, ranging from solely just a specific division who's just running trainings for Illinois, so that's the OnDemand Institute, to Lead, Learn, Excel, which is a higher level type of teacher type of training. So all of our Achieve OnDemand trainings will start with Achieve OnDemand, and you'll notice that you only have access to those trainings within this catalog. But that's why you'll see everything is listed as that. And then it'll be alphabetized from there by the actual title of the training. So you'll notice ages and stages there first. On the left-hand side, these are the different filters that you could use to search for trainings. Truly, to make it easier, is the type. So you have your online course. If you hover over it, that's any self-paced course. So it's anything that's going to be virtually living inside this training. Looks like the little computer. This little event icon, it looks like a little calendar. That's going to be all of your webinars. And then you have one item that's designated as a curriculum. Basically, that's our pregnancy course. It's technically 2 self-paced courses housed into one item. So we have a part 1 and a part 2. So it's 6 total hours of training. It's a great course. Nick Wexler was our subject matter expert in helping us develop that training. It's a fantastic training. And I'm in it because I was pregnant during the time of it. So we did a lot of interviewing with me. So you'll see me in there. So you'll notice if I click on it, it'll stay highlighted like that, and it'll only show those self-paced courses. I can unclick it, and it'll start filtering them down again. You have your date ranges that you can apply if you're only available for a certain time for a webinar training. That would really just pull up all those webinars. The location doesn't really apply here. I can't remove that because it's just a system thing that's restricted for me to remove. And then, sorry, I lost my train of thought. And then we have this little button right here. So you could filter by title or duration in terms of how it's listing out for you. Okay, so today I wanted to go ahead and enroll into a training. I'm a new home visitor. I choose Basics of Home Visiting. I click on the title of the training. It's going to take me to the catalog record. It's going to give me a brief description of the course, the different registries, and we are an approved training opportunity for the Alliance of the Advancement of Infant Mental Health. So this will list out each description, will list out the different competency areas it meets for the advancement of the infant mental health, that alliance. It'll give you a brief rundown of the completion requirements, and then everything else. But you'll notice through your access, you'll see that price discount because none of your learners will be required to purchase the training.
Okay.
To get it, this is a little, not misleading, but a little wonky. You're not going to get an enrollment button. You'll get a launch button. And what that'll do is as soon as you hit that button or click that button, it'll automatically put it on your transcript as an active training. So you'll notice that I just clicked it, and it's starting the training. Say you can't start the training right away. You just want to make sure it's on your transcript so the next time you go, you can just exit out. And what it'll do is it'll take you directly to your transcript, and you'll see it's listed first. Okay, so, and we have 3 different training statuses that'll be applied to the training. So you'll notice that this basics, even though I didn't start it, because I hit that launch button, it'll say in progress. Technically, that means I just registered for it. Again, this is a system restriction. We can't, based on how it's set up, I can't get it just to move over in a registered status, but it'll say in progress. And then you'll notice there's a pending evaluation, and then we'll go over the completed training. So those are the 3 types of statuses that your learners will see when they start participating in their trainings, for the self-paced courses at least. So I launched the course, I'm getting ready, and I'm in. as a side note, we suggest that all users either access their trainings through Google Chrome or Firefox for best usage. Okay, the system, this Cornerstone, you'll notice in the bottom, Cornerstone OnDemand, we use a third-party system to host our trainings. They're discontinuing the support of Internet Explorer because Microsoft is phasing it out. So we can't troubleshoot if something happens to the training for some reason or another. I can't efficiently troubleshoot the problem for you because they're not supporting the use of that internet browser. So again, we suggest using, or if you're Apple users, Safari works. Even Microsoft Edge. I don't know if you guys have had through your own IT department and updates with the Windows system, have had that installed on your computer, but it'll work on Microsoft Edge. Just Internet Explorer, it gets a little funky. And I can't truly help people when using it.
That's good to know.
Yes. So, okay, so I enroll into a training, I log back in, I want to launch. What I do is, and I'm using Google Chrome, I just click that launch button, and it's going to open up a new page. So you want to make sure your pop-up blockers are disabled, or it won't open. Also, we have Flash currently. They use that to develop these trainings. Right now, as a security step, all these internet browsers are having people allow the use of Flash. So you'll have to do that one step, and I can send guides on how to go ahead and access that. You saw how quick and easy that was. It's a funny thing that I know how to do it because I'm constantly in these trainings, but as an actual external user, it's something that you might forget. So I can provide guides, or anybody can just reach out to me directly and I will walk them through how to do it. We're in the process of updating all the training, so we don't have to do that any longer. But that's not going to be like a turnaround next week. It's going to take a few weeks for our developers to get everything situated with all the trainings. So you'll notice that, okay, so I turned on the Flash. Do you want to start from the last page you visited? Do you want to click yes? And what that's going to do is it's going to start the training for you. So we're going to stop that. That's the navigation. That's for the basics of home visiting. That you would just go through the courses, and like I said, when I was going over the learning experiences, with the self-paced courses, you can go through a couple slides and say you have to run somewhere, you have to do something, you can log out of the system completely, and in a couple days or a week, you log back in to pick up where you left off, you'll be able to do that. Okay? So that's that. You get to the end of the course, you complete the post-assessment that's embedded in the course. So that's just the end of course post-assessment to kind of judge where you were at in the knowledge of all the content that you went through. As long as you get 8 out of 10, you'll pass that post-assessment. They're not difficult at all. All the content is in the trainings. So you will submit. It'll give you the option to print, so you can print. If you also have reflective worksheets embedded in these trainings that you can always download, and you can take them to your reflective supervision meetings. And we strongly suggest that users do that, especially if you're trying to implement these trainings into your system and your professional development requirements, that type of thing. All of those tools are available to you and to your learners, so you can go over the content, apply it to real life experiences, that type of good stuff. So back to how to use the system. I get to the end of the course, I get an 8 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, depending on how much I paid attention, on my post-assessment, and I complete the course. I'll exit the course, but you'll notice you won't have a completed status. What you'll have to do, or what the learner will have to do, will do the end of training experience evaluation. So you'll see this is like a overview of just accessing your transcript, and you'll have that evaluation button right here, what it looks like on the dashboard. Okay, if I go back to my home dashboard, you'll notice it'll have a launch evaluate listed right there. you just click that evaluation button, or if you're in your transcript view, you click the purple button, and it'll take you here. You click continue, and it'll list the 6 different evaluation questions you'll need to complete for the system to process this training as complete. So I'll save and return. So you would do that submit, not save and return. You would do submit, and what would happen is this would disappear from this active tab of your transcript. If you need to access your completed trainings or the training certificates as proof of completion, what you would do is you would log into the system. You'll notice that once you complete, it won't be listed here. So if I completed this Building Engaging and Collaborative Relationships self-paced course, it would no longer be listed here because it's not an active status according to the system. So what I would do is I would either click the title of this widget, or I would navigate to My Professional Development. I would navigate to this active button, change to completed, and all my completed trainings will be listed right here. To view this, you just click View the Certificate. It's going to open up a new pop-up or a new window, and it'll list the PDF version of your training certificate. It'll have the date, the hours. Claire Dunham, the Vice President of Programs and Training here at the OUNS, has signed it, and you can submit this for any type of proof of completion, whether it's through your registry or credentialing system or just to your supervisor. So that's how to navigate through the system, enroll into trainings, access your trainings, self-paced course trainings, I should say, and then access the completed certificate. So you'll notice that we just went through the self-paced course trainings. If I were to register into a webinar session, what I would do is I would locate the title I would want, and I'd know it's a webinar by the icon that looks like a calendar. And this will list, again, the catalog record. We have a facilitator listed in here who's actually conducting the training. And then you'll notice you'll have several sessions listed, and you can see the dates. We have all these sessions available until the end of June 2020. So say I wanted to attend in 2 weeks for this webinar session, I would just select request, and it'll be listed here. And it's there. Finally, you have your registered status because the webinar sessions are only available on that scheduled time and date. So you'll notice that this one says 8/6 at 1 p.m. and this will be listed in your time zone. Okay, so it's 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, I'm in Chicago, that's 12 o'clock. You guys don't need to know that, but everything that's connected to a date will be listed in your time zone. So if you receive or if you see any other documentation, because we do send out monthly webinars coming up type of emails to all of our learners, the information listed in there, it'll say CT. Because it's a different system we're sending those emails to, and it's not an automatic switch for us. So we do designate that it does say Central Time on those notifications, but if you were to log into your account, it's going to list in your time zone. So you know exactly when this training will begin.
Okay. And I noticed that it had so many seats available.
Mm-hmm.
What would happen if you ran out of seats, but I really wanted to take that course?
So we haven't gotten to that problem yet.
Okay.
Great problem to have, but we haven't gotten to that point yet. We've only made it to about 195 enrollees. Now, if that did happen, what we would do is, I'm sure my manager would turn around and say, just enroll them in and we'll get them in for that session. If this is the session that you need to take, we would do that. We have that in there because just webinar training best practices. You don't want to have a huge webinar training like 400 people.
Right.
Because the connection gets funky and people start dropping off, that type of thing. So we found that 250 is a good level. If it's, like you said, we hit that year 251, we'll get you it.
Okay.
Okay. So you'll notice it's in your time zone. If I go to launch, it's going to tell me that I have some time to wait, so it won't let me in. We do open all of the webinar sessions. They are conducted through WebEx, and all the virtual rooms on the day of the webinar are open 1 hour prior to the start time. We say learner best practices are that you try to get in at least 15 minutes before, just to launch the training, to make sure if you run into any technical difficulties for some reason or another, we can either help you troubleshoot them or you can access through a different device. So it's not like last minute logging on and it's not working, you miss 10 minutes of the training. So that's just our suggested best practice for our learners, is to get in about 15 minutes before if you can. Okay, any questions?
I'm good right now.
You're good? Okay. So we went over registering in the system, enrolling into courses, the different statuses, how to launch your self-paced course, how to, when the time does come, how to launch your webinar. You would come directly through here and launch. It'll open up that training room, so you're not going to receive an email that has a link and login information for WebEx. You're going to go directly through your portal account. Okay? You'll receive those reminder emails. We have them set up depending on the webinars, because some webinars have resources that we request that the learners read ahead of time if they have, if they have time. It's understandable. A lot of people don't. But they're like vignettes and stuff like that we'll be using as examples throughout the training. Not each training has them, but multiple ones do. Those will be sent out upon registration and a week in advance, and then you'll receive reminders to log in 24 hours in advance, an hour before, and then when the webinar opens if you're not logged in yet. So you'll get those email reminders. So that's the portal, and those are the trainings, and I have multiple So I had created all of these user guides for the PA learners. So we have a system registration guide. We have how to enroll into a self-paced course. We have how to enroll into a webinar. I'm also going to include that flash access and adjustment for Google Chrome. If you're using another, we just say Google Chrome because we've only created a guide for that because generally that's what people use. Some people do use Firefox. If that's the case, you can always contact me and I can walk you through how to go ahead and adjust the Firefox settings to allow for Flash to run. Super quick and easy. It's just you kind of have to know where to go. So we have all these nice guides with screenshots and step-by-step instructions available for all learners. But everybody learns differently and understands differently. I'm available, and so is the rest of the AOD support team, to assist anyone by phone. We can always set up another webinar or a WebEx room, anything like that. But our user support is the best asset I feel like learners have when it comes to professional development online training. That's just my general opinion. I'm here to assist you. We know exactly how busy our home visitors are and the staff is working with parents, and they have limited time and resources to access professional development. So with that in mind, we try to be as available as possible to help our learners access the trainings. If they run into a hiccup and something's not loading in the system, they can always reach out to us. Or if something happens in the cookie tracking of the training, you spend an hour and a half in the training, you go back and all of a sudden it's starting you at page 1 and you're like, what is going on? We can push you to where you left off. So don't think, I know with technology, it gets very frustrating, but just know that we're here to help you and we're here to help your learners. So that's my top priority above everything else. So I just want to stress that as much as possible. So you have, you'll notice at the bottom, let me go back to sharing my web browser. You'll notice that our general support information will be listed. So you have Achieve OnDemand at theoncs.org. If you were to go and log out and just go to the Pennsylvania, oops, not that one. Let me go back. If you go just back to your landing page, and of course it's going to do that, you'll see that that's another funky thing of the system. As soon as you create an account in the system, sometimes it's hard to get back to that landing page I initially took you to because the system is tracking, okay, you're already in, you just need to go to this login page. So every time you would click that link, it'll take you directly to your login page, and this is what it would look like. But I was just going to point out that at the bottom of that initial landing page for your portal, it has our phone number at the bottom, and I can provide that to you all right now. I'll put it through chat. So we have our support line, and then I have my own direct line, and I always provide both to all learners to make sure that if nobody's responding through that general support line, then you have my direct contact, and I can assist you. Like I said, that's my primary focus, is to make sure that our learners are taken care of. I don't like things hanging out. We do for our email address, just because of how busy things can get. We have a general statement that'll take us around 1 business day to respond. Again, I try to be quicker than that because I know that once somebody sits down to actually do something, they have that scheduled time and they don't necessarily have a day to complete it. So I'm constantly monitoring our support system. Okay. Are there any questions, any concerns, anything I can answer at this time?
I don't believe I have any more questions.
Okay. How about Nicole? Hi, Nicole.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Do you have any questions? I know you kind of you were logged in. I'm going to be providing, we're recording this, so you'll have the recording of everything. Okay. And then I have a bunch of guides I'm sending out. But do you have any questions of anything we went over that you saw?
No, it seems pretty straight. So.
Great, great. Okay. Well, that's all I had scheduled. We try to make the system as intuitive as possible within our ability. Since it is a third-party system, we don't have complete control over coding and all of that. So if any updates come about, you'll receive notification. We do have plans in the works to updating that initial login that you saw, your dashboard with the widgets. We're trying to do something we're going to be developing something a little more streamlined. But again, it's not like all of a sudden you're going to log in and it's going to be different. We'll send out communication guides, all of that, to make it easier on everybody to get acclimated with anything that's new in terms of the way you're seeing it and experiencing it. Okay?
All right, sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you for this time today. I'm so glad that we were able to do this. And like I said, I will provide, Corey, I'll follow up with you with all those guides. I'll change that landing page. I'm so sorry for that edit, that error. So I'll go ahead. I'm going to log into the system right when we're done, and I'm going to fix that. But I'll follow up with the recording and all the guides, and then all my information. You have all my information, so you can go ahead and start dispersing all of this great information to your staff.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mary Kate.
Of course. And like I said, any questions or any concerns, nothing is too silly to ask. And that's what we're here for.
I appreciate
it.
Okay.
All right. Well, you guys have a great day.
Thank you.
And a great weekend.
Yeah.
Soon.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.